Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because we are doing a Rivian R1S tour. I have been driving this thing for a week as a mom of three with my 3 car seats and my stroller. We even took it to my family's farm for a little outing. And I have a lot of thoughts to share on this electric family SUV. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the car mom. I review cars for moms and for families. I'm a mom of 3 and I'm a certified child passenger safety tech. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the Rivian brand is what I kind of call like a startup boutique electric vehicle company. Right now they have 2 models currently out, the R1S and the R1T. The R1T is their pickup truck, but this R1S is a 3-row SUV. There is a lot to break down with this car, but let's quickly start with the exterior. What do you guys think? I mean, there is nothing like this on the road. It looks like an animated car that you would find in a Disney movie. I appreciate the uniqueness. I think this light bar is really fun and flashy. And for the most part, I think it has a really nice boxy exterior. If you kind of come over to her side profile, you can just see how big and boxy this car is. This is what we call a mid-size SUV. It's comparable in size to things like a Chevy Traverse, a Hyundai Palisade, not quite as big as your Tahoe Expeditions, but it's still a really nice size. I think the side profile is stunning. I love the squared off body right there, the big meaty tires, and I mean, I definitely took this thing a little bit off-road on my family farm, and it performed very well. We went through some water, we went up quite a steep hill with some rocks, and the car felt very, very smooth. All right, and then on the back end, we have Rivian spelled out very big, our R1S badging, that same kind of light bar, but in the back, and a very squared off back end. Now, if you're in the market for an electric thrill SUV, your options right now are pretty limited. We've got the Tesla Model X or Y, and now we have the new Kia EV9, and of course, this Rivian R1S. So as far as driving is concerned, on a full charge, you're looking at about 350-ish miles of range, and this car very much operates like a lot of electric vehicles with a one-pedal driving situation. So if you've ever driven a golf cart, I'm not saying that they drive the same, but it's kind of a similar concept. As soon as you take your foot off the gas, the vehicle will actually start to brake and use regenerative braking to start recharging the battery. I'm not being dramatic when I say I think I've used the brakes 2 times in this week alone that I've had, because as soon as you take your foot off the gas, the vehicle starts to slow down pretty quickly. If you're not used to it, you may find like the car is a little bit jerky. So if you're test driving one of these or any electric car, just know it's going to take some getting used to. With this being an electric vehicle, it has a lot of EV quirks that I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of. And the first one being the fact that there's no way to turn this car on, right? Like as soon as you get into it, it's going to start. When you leave the car and lock it, it's going to turn off. And that just takes some getting used to. I'm old fashioned. I like a stop start button. I like to be able to turn on the car. And I noticed this weekend, especially we were at my family's farm and it's a secluded area. And I would have liked to have the option to like leave my key in the car so I didn't have to carry it around. But then the car wouldn't go into sleep mode while the key was in it. It was just kind of annoying. But I did find out this nice solution. Since this is a little, what do you call this? Like a camping hook? What is that called? I don't know. Anyway, it fits great on my loopy. So that kind of worked out well. Okay, as far as family friendliness though, let's start kind of breaking down some of your cubby and your storage spaces. This is a little lame to me. It has been very difficult to fit anything extra in there. I wish this was just a little bit bigger. Now, as far as our technology is concerned, this thing is pretty high tech. You don't have a lot of physical buttons. Everything is controlled within these 2 screens. Starting off, we have our dash right here, which I think is beautiful. We have obviously an image of the car, some navigation, our gear selector. This is also customizable. What's fun is as you're driving, the vehicle can actually read the other cars on the road. It almost kind of looks like a video game, and I found it kind of fun and kind of helpful. But let me get you to the other side and we'll start really breaking down this infotainment system. Okay, you guys, moving into our infotainment system. It's all right here. There's not a button to be found. I do like that my climate control is pulled out here. However, I'm sorry, in the world of climate controls, I thought it couldn't get worse than the Ford Expedition until I saw this thing. It's tough. To like control the vents, I have to go in here. It just feels like I could use some knobs and some buttons, but and if I'm not going to have that, I would like to have a more easier way to access this. And I know this is something that you would get used to, but I'm sorry, I feel like it's cumbersome, and I feel like the fact that I can't even move my vents without going into the screen to do it feels quite honestly just extra. However, aside from that, I have really enjoyed the navigation system, and I do think that for the most part, it's pretty user friendly. Like I said, with them having this kind of It almost kind of looks like the Apple's like dock or like home screen. Everything right down here does make it pretty easy. I think the size of the screen is really nice. I like the built-in look. Just the climate control is tough. Some other things in this interior. Check out this like literally this porous wood. It is some of the best looking wood trim I've ever seen in a vehicle. I think it's beautiful. I love the Rivian etched in right there. Stunning. A little bit of a faux leather dashboard up here. We have a suede headliner, this gorgeous panoramic roof. The interior feels very luxe, it's the perfect mixture of high-end and off-roading. I think they've done it very, very well. I mean, even just kind of taking a look at the seats, they're very comfortable, they're firm, they contour to the body, there's some nice elements in them. I think the design of the car is beautiful. Okay, some more cubby spaces. Love. I love this open area right here. This is insane. Look at these cup holders, you guys. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to call yourself an off-roading SUV with these little flimsy things. Would love to see a little bit more of a built-in sturdy cup holder, but they do fit the Stanley, so they're passing the Stanley test. Okay, I'm loving this area. I just love a flat little area like this to throw your phone, your wallet, something like that. I think this is awesome. Okay, center console. Pretty nice and deep. We also have two USB-Cs in there. No USB-Cs out here. Now, I told you I've been driving this car for a week as a mom of 3. I have 3 kids under the age of 5. We're all in car seats. And I just want to show that when you do 3 across, it is going to affect your visibility out the back. And unfortunately, I was kind of surprised to see that there's no rear view camera option right here. I would love that addition because I can't see out the back. So I've basically been relying on my rear view mirrors to see what's behind me. So one big critique I have is I would love to see an addition of that. However, let's get to the second row because I was able to fit 3 car seats pretty darn easily, and I'm excited to break down the car seat setup. All right, so let's talk 3 across in a Rivian R1S because yes, it's possible. However, it's not going to be possible with all car seat combinations. I had to use a slim fit seat, which isn't a big deal, but this is one of my favorite seats. It's the Graco Slim Fit 3LX. Has to be the specific Graco. We can leave a link for it in the description below. It's an excellent seat. As you can see, I have my 2 forward-facing children and then my rear-facing child here. I have this driver's seat set for myself at about 6 feet tall, and I've got about 2.5 inches of clearance, which feels pretty good, pretty standard for the size of the car. And it felt good. I mean, everyone was able to sit in their seats. Everyone was comfortable. I do think different combinations could get a little bit more difficult. And this is just kind of a lesson for anyone trying to attempt 3 across. Like just because this combination is going to work doesn't mean all combinations are going to work, especially when you talk about adding infant seats or booster seats. Those play an entirely different role because infant seats are wider and booster seats need really good access to the buckle. So my advice is just make sure you try out your 3 across combination before you commit to the car. I do think several combinations would work in this car, but it's not going to be as 3 across friendly as like a minivan or a Ford Expedition just because the bench isn't as wide. Okay, I'm gonna take one of these car seats out and we're gonna start breaking down the amenities. Knee clearance feels good, head clearance feels amazing, and I'm comfortable even next to a car seat. I still have easy access to my buckle, which is great. So whether you're putting a person here or a booster age child here, things are happening. And as far as my amenities are concerned, I've got a very small pocket back here. I like the looks of it. I wish it was just like a little bit deeper. And then I've got my climate control down here. I'm loving that we can easily lock the rear climate control from up there. 2 vents on the back of the center console and then 2 USB-Cs. You know, for a family-friendly car, I do love seeing the addition of ceiling vents, but I do feel like this car did do pretty well circulating airflow, so I'm feeling good about it. No sunshades. Bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. Feels like we could have added that. And then this is there's also USB-Cs in the back of the headrest, which I think is awesome for older kids or younger kids who need to charge their devices. Sometimes this is so much easier to reach than going all the way down there. Okay, we removed this middle seat as well. And one more thing I wanted to point out was I love how nice and flat this floorboard is. It is so comfortable. It's really good to store things. I love that there's not like that extra hump here because you can just fill down here with bags or whatever you would need for the weekend. Okay, in the middle seat, we have some built-in cup holders, which is great. And as far as the car seat hardware is concerned, okay, so when you have this bench seat, you have the lower anchors on both outboard seats, tether anchors across this bench. In the second row, you have 2 seats, which you know I love because we have 2 good seats back there. And they both have their own set of lower anchors and tether anchors. So that's a grand total of 5 tether anchors and 4 sets of lower anchors, which feels excellent. Okay, so we have a 40/60 bench. So that means that this middle seat and outboard seat are connected, and that's your standalone seat. So I always like to make sure when I'm reviewing a car that the seats can, the two sections of the seat can operate independently. So I like that there's no overhang on that 40% of the seat. So with the car seat installed there, I can hit this button and this whole seat is going to tilt and slide. Doesn't affect how that car seat's installed. This is the kind of third row access we're talking about. So it's an okay with, I'm gonna hop back there. Okay, and there's pros and cons of these seats. So first, I'm not gonna have a ton of legroom. Like I just don't. I mean, I could definitely move this seat forward a little bit, but it's not winning legroom awards. But look at how deep this seat is, you guys. This is exactly what you wanna see for a good car seat installation. So often we have manufacturers make third rows so shallow back here, and they do that so like they can say they have more legroom, but then that makes it so difficult for car seats because then you're dealing with overhang issues. This is an excellent seat. Excellent. You might have some legroom issues even with a car seat because you don't necessarily want to have a kid's legs pressed against here. So it's definitely not going to work. It's not the most comfortable third row, but I do feel like it has enough versatility with the width of this bench. And this isn't uncomfortable. I mean, my head clearance still feels really good. My shoulder room feels nice because we only have the two seats back here. I'm not sitting on a buckle. As far as my amenities are concerned, great panoramic sunroof. I've got vents right here, my own cup holder, storage with charging in these little armrests, which are really nice. Very sleek, and it feels comfortable. Like I love that I have a place to rest my arm right here. Okay, you guys, let's talk trunk space. Trunk space in the Rivian R1S. First of all, I love this. I love a split trunk because things aren't flying out. You know what I mean? If I have a watermelon, it's gonna stay put. My stroller, I'm not trying to like hold it into place while I close this. It just keeps everything so secure. And this is the trunk space with the third row up. And look at this, I was able to fit my Mockingbird stroller, which is excellent. This is a big stroller. So the fact that I was able to fit this was great. I feel good. Okay, some things I'm not loving though back here. The size of the trunk is fabulous. Underneath here, we have some additional storage. Fabulous. No complaints there. Complaining here. These third row seats aren't power, which is fine. I don't need them to be power, but I absolutely hate that there's no way for me to get them up without literally crawling in there. There's not a tab. And I can't even just do it like this. I literally it's the most difficult thing ever. I literally have to hold this up and then pull it. And then I hit my head on that. I've done that 3 times today. Hate. I would love a pulley, and I can't believe it doesn't have that. Okay, y'all, so that's going to wrap up this Rivian R1S tour. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of how your car seats can fit, how your family can function, and for the most part, I do think in the 3-row electric SUV category, the Rivian R1S is a good option. You have versatility on where people can sit, you can fit the 3 car seats across, you have enough room for your stroller, and I think it's a very good niche car for that family looking to have an EV, have it keep with their active lifestyle. I think it looks great on the outside, and I'm excited to see where the Rivian brand goes.